Lord, I thank you for, Lord, the identity that you've given us, Father, that we are a chosen generation. And we thank you for that, Lord. And we just give you glory, honor, and praise. In Jesus' holy name we pray. Amen. Brothers and sisters, you are a royal priesthood. You are both king and priest in God. Revelations 1, 5, and 6 tells us, oh my God, yes it does. We are instruments that God can use. Acts chapter 9 and 15 says, but the Lord said unto him, go thy way, for he is a chosen vessel unto me, to bear my name before the Gentiles and kings and the children of Israel. You are a chosen generation, brothers and sisters. Let no one steal your identity. Listen, don't let someone sell you, or don't get so hungry that you trade your birthright for a cup of soup or porridge. Don't do it. Jacob and Esau, listen, you know the story. Don't get so hungry that you'll eat anything. Don't get so hungry that you'll beg for nothing just to satisfy something that is going to pass. Oh my God. My God. You got to remember, the blood of Jesus Christ can forgive sin and wash away all of your sin forever. There is power in the blood. Revelation 1, 5, and 6 says, and from Jesus Christ, who is the faithful witness and the first begotten of the dead and the prince of the kings of the earth, unto him that loved us and washed us from our sins in his own blood, and has made us kings and priests unto God and his Father. To him be glory and dominion forever and ever. Praise God. You are a royal priesthood. You are both king and priest in God. Brothers, God has given us so much, and the enemy is trying to blindside you. He's trying to make you think that, you know what, you're just a mistake. You ain't nothing. But Hebrews 12 and 10 says, for they indeed for a few days chastised us, seems best to them, but he for our profit, that we may be partakers of his holiness. We are a holy nation, a peculiar people. Peculiar. People look at you and say, man, there's something wrong with you. Yeah, there's something wrong with me, man. I'm a peculiar person. Dan, I'm peculiar. Woo, praise ye the Lord, my brothers and sisters. We need to realize who we are. 1 Corinthians 1 and 27 says, but God has chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and God has chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. God has made you so strong, but you need to know. Get out of that mess. There's a way out of that mess, and it's JESUS.
Where can you buy a brand new Nissan with a lifetime warranty? Kingston Pike. Hey folks, Gerald Anderson with Ted Russell Nissan. You heard it right. Every new Ted Russell Nissan comes with a lifetime warranty, and that's a long, long time. Ted Russell Nissan on Kingston Pike.
Good morning and welcome to AM 1380 WYSH and Ask Your Neighbor. Ask Your Neighbor can also be heard and seen on our website, WYSHradio.com. And if you are in Anderson, Rome, or Morgan County and have Comcast cable, you can watch Ask Your Neighbor on BBB TV Channel 12. Ask Your Neighbor is the program where you call in and do just that. Ask Your Neighbor. Do you have a comment? Do you have a problem? Or do you have a question? Then call in and ask your neighbor. 866 865-457-1380 or toll free at 877-711-4005. And for those of you that might be listening or watching on the internet, you can email from our website, WYSHradio.com. Just click on the Contact Us button and email your questions. Now sit back and listen as listeners throughout East Tennessee and the entire world answer your questions on Ask Your Neighbor on BBB TV 12 and AM 1380 WYSH.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome into Ask Your Neighbor. David West stars the stories of the Cass Walker Show. David is cooking.
He's cooking.
He's
watching them
supervising
prepare their meal. Yeah, we got a big meal coming up today at Ciderville.
It's soup day.
Well, it's actually going to be chicken and dumplings.
Chicken and dumplings day.
Cookings, and Creed's bringing over some Granger County tomatoes, and so we're going to have a big time around noon or so afterwards. I've got some officers coming over, the former sheriff, and he's actually running again next year in Knox County, and some other folks will be over there. Mike Kelly's supposed to come over.
There
Reddy
you go.
Smith. We got several.
Oh, you got royalty coming.
Yeah, and we're hoping Ron Meredith will come over.
I might drive by.
There's plenty of
grub, huh?
That's right. Hey, David had called the other day. We've got a couple other things coming on here in a few minutes. We've got one of East Tennessee's legends in radio will be on with us here in about 15 minutes. But David called me the other day and he says, "Hey, I'm going to have to be over at the store." But he said, "I've got somebody I want to have on the radio. His name's Carl Papa." And Carl's here with us, and me and Ron's going to do our best to see if we can get all the information from you in about 10, 15 minutes. But you had a big event here. Tell the folks a little bit about what you've done and where you've worked.
My name's Carl Papa. I was appointed in federal court back in 1976 by Judge Taylor. And then I worked as a probation officer, U.S. probation officer. Then I was elevated to the chief of pretrial services in 93. Judge Jarvis appointed me to that position, and that's the position I held until I retired. So what we did in pretrial services, we were a sister agency of the probation office. So if someone got arrested on a federal charge, one of our officers would interview that person, see if they were eligible for release, what the release should be. If there were substance abuse problems, you might have a person give urine screens or get mental health counseling. Had to be employed, and then we would monitor their behavior until they went to court.
Okay.
And then once they went to court, and that could be a while. Sometimes a person could be on bond for a year, even longer in some cases, if they were working with the government or different things. So then what happened was after they were convicted, then they would go on probation. So we would help the judge determine, and a lot of the times it would be the magistrate judges to determine who would get out on bond and under what conditions. So that's what we did. So my headquarters office was here in Knoxville, but we had officers in Greenville and Chattanooga, and we even had an office in Winchester, which was used on occasion. So that's what I did until I retired.
So you met Zane Daniels many years ago, and of course his brother Creed, he's actually going to be over at our lunch today.
Almost all the lawyers we worked with were criminal lawyers, so I got to know Creed and Zane.
You mean they were criminals? No, never mind.
they might have been, who knows?
You never know.
And then Dirk, Creed's son, Dirk, who did most of his practice up in Rutledge, we got to know him as well, and some criminal cases with him. But I was fortunate to know Zane. Zane was just a wonderful person that everybody liked Zane. He always had a smile. Some of the best times I had was when I was around Zane and Creed, because they both liked to tell jokes, and when one would tell a joke, the other one would have to outdo him, or at least try.
One-uppers. Yeah.
So that's how I know everything. And recently, what we did to remember Zane. Zane loved the game of golf, and so did Dirk. Dirk actually went to Vanderbilt on a golf scholarship, so you can see it was very important to them. But they also like to promote the game with young golfers. Zane was always talking about his kids and grandkids playing golf, so he was always interested in getting the younger generation into that game. So what we did, Creed and I, for probably 2 years now, have been bouncing the idea around about having a scholarship in Zane and Dirk's name. And it came to fruition in June. It took a while to put together, different things happened. Health issues, different things happened. So we didn't get to do it as quickly as we liked. But in June we did. And we had Zane's son's help with the project. And I wanted it to be a little bit different than others. I've put some other golf tournaments together. I wanted this to be different. So I wanted live music, because they never have live music, do they?
We know a guy.
Yeah, we do know a guy. And that guy, of course, came out and brought his band, and it was absolutely wonderful. The crowd loved it. Now, we had some rain, so after about 16 holes, the last couple of holes were rained out, so we all huddled back in the pavilion there at Three Ridges Golf Course, and David and his group played music, and Con sang, and everyone had a good time, and Todd made the best barbecue possible. I called him the maestro of the barbecue pit. But it was a good time, and we raised some money, and we started the fund. So this is through the Tennessee Golf Foundation, which is out of Franklin, Tennessee. And what they do is they take young golfers that need assistance financially. So if there's a young golfer that they've been monitoring that needs, to get into a tournament, and he needs the fees to get into that tournament, well, then they'll supply it. Now, they usually don't buy whole sets of clubs. They can, but usually they'll find if a person needs a new putter, they'll take care of it. So that way you can spread the money over, more golfers that way. And again, it's a young group. Some of them are as young as 6 years old that they deal with. And then they have them up through, the teenage years. But I think that I know that Zane and Dirk would both be very happy with that. And this is going to be an ongoing scholarship. So I hope next June, we can do it again.
Yeah.
Hopefully back at Three Ridges. I'll talk to Mark Brown out there and maybe have music again, get more people involved, make it a better thing so that each year that money just keeps coming in and growing the scholarship. Just to keep those names in mind for now on.
How do you go about recruiting the possible recipients for the scholarship? How do you get the word out to the kids or the families?
I'm not sure how they do that. Yeah. What I did with the Tennessee Golf Foundation was get with the local guy in Knoxville and set it up. So he told me we did it for East Tennessee. It could have been the whole state, but I wanted it to be East Tennessee.
Sure.
And I wanted it to be younger golfers. You can pick different groups. You can pick all sorts of things you want, but the more you specialize it, more money goes to that one individual cause.
Exactly.
And it's not spread out with as many golfers. So I thought by keeping it general and letting them make the decision,
Gotcha.
Because they know which golfers need the most assistance.
Good.
And I was afraid I'd, tie our hands if we put too many stipulations on it.
I'll tell you something, Ron. The acoustics out there at that pavilion were phenomenal. I told Con he never sounded better.
No, he was getting it. Everyone was getting into it there, especially at the end. Yeah. That was a great tournament. Again, even with the rain, and it was a really nice day before that.
Oh yeah.
But different people, Todd did the barbecue and the whole meal with it.
What'd Jeff do? Anything?
Yeah, Jeff I think was holding the baton. He was keeping his brother going, and the maestro in the barbecue pit.
I thought you was going to tell me, Carl, that Jeff was eating and Todd was cooking.
Well, I think we were all eating, because once we got into it, and there was a lot of barbecue. I mean, there was a ton of barbecue. That was good.
Yeah.
And Ray Hand and his group gave beer, so anytime you have beer and barbecue and lawyers in that group of people, you're going to have a good time.
You're going to need a lawyer if you're in that group.
Yeah, evidently.
Everybody sings a little bit louder after a few Bud Lights, right?
So you're gonna do this every year, try to do it recurring every year?
I hope to. I want to get the family, keep the family involved. So and I visit Creed and I are good friends. I mean, we eat dinner and do things all the time.
Sure.
So yes, we're going to keep it going. I'm not sure what we're going to do next time, but we are. Also, Phil Williams has been a big help with this.
Fantastic.
I was on his show again, and Phil did the same thing. We talked about and he loves to play golf. He loves to play golf. Matter of fact, we had a tournament a year ago for another cause that I think is real important. It was Worthy Women, and it's for women that have been sexually trafficked and abused.
Okay.
So what we did was we raised some money for that organization, and Phil was a big part of that as well. So,
Will you if you'll get information to us prior to those events, be happy to advertise them for you here on our stations.
Thank you.
We let folks know. So.
We will absolutely do that, and we'll start earlier next year.
And that's in, folks. Yeah, and just email them to us, and that way we can get them on earlier and let folks know exactly what's going on, and encourage people to come out there and play golf with you and raise money for a good cause.
And we'd like you to get your golf clubs out of the closet, dust them off, and then come out and play golf with us too.
Can we shoot skeet?
I don't know if they'll let you do that.
You could probably bring that along. And if there's enough beer, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
so
after a little while,
you can still have a good time.
Are you from East Tennessee?
I'm originally from South Jersey.
I started to say, you don't sound like you're from here. I'm just kidding.
Milligan College, if you know where that is.
Yeah, I went to ETSU, so I was up in that.
Okay, well, I was a wrestler in high school. So what the coach at Milligan College was looking for someone my size, so I came down to Milligan College, never been to Tennessee before, only to wrestle.
What weight division?
Back then, 134.
Okay, I had a buddy of mine 145.
134. So I wrestled at Milligan College. And then I got into corrections. I was doing some internship with the state probation office in Johnson City, and absolutely loved working with people like that. I mean, I loved it. So I started a long time as a probation officer and just
made a career.
My way up and stayed in East Tennessee.
At lunch today, I want to talk to you some more about the task force I was on with the Smoky Mountain Fugitive Task
Yeah,
Force
I'd love
the marshals, and there's several people you'll know that I worked with that you did as well. When did you retire?
06.
Okay, so you've been retired a while.
06, and then, if you want me to tell some more, so
sure.
In 06, I've always played golf, but as I like to say, not very well. So my friend Tom Slagle, when I'm at the driving range hitting balls, thinking that I'm shifting weight forward, I'm not. He said, Carl, you're hanging back. That's why you're not hitting it far. You're hanging back. There's no power. You got to hit down and through the ball. So I thought I was. And then I stepped back from the line, and I looked at the other golfers. They were all doing the same thing I was. So I thought, well, what can I do here? So I went home, and I started to piddle in the garage. So I got my Dremel out, and I started cutting things and gluing things together. And I came up with a device, which is now called the Pin High Pro, and it slides under your lead foot. And as you shift weight forward, it clicks. So it takes about 20 pounds, so your weight's there.
So you have a patent on it?
I do. I have 4 patents on it. I have 4 patents on it. So it helps you work on
help you shift your weight.
Muscle memory. And I sell them on Amazon. As a matter of fact, someone bought one at 2:30 this morning, so I guess they couldn't sleep and they were on the internet.
That's great.
I might as well fix my golf game here.
Philippines.
That might be, who knows? Who knows? So I've been doing that since I've retired, and I've met some absolutely wonderful people. Go to the PGA show down there in Orlando, which is big. Since I'm in the golf business, I can get in down there. So I've met some interesting people.
You got to come back sometime. We'll just talk about golf. Did you go to the Masters?
I've been to the Masters twice. I've been to the practice round of the Masters twice, and I absolutely love it too.
I'll tell you real quick about my golf game. So, you remember he used to be the coach at Tennessee baseball, John Whited. So he won the Tennessee seniors one time. And so what happened was I was in a golf tournament one time, and I said, hey, give me some pointers. I'm not very good at golf. And so he said, well, let me see your grip. As soon as he looked at my grip, and he said, well, that's your problem. I said, what is it? He said, you got a horrendous grip. So I don't play a lot of golf. I love to when I can. But,
we'll have to play some. And especially some of these tournaments. If you come to these tournaments, like for Zane and Dirk, you'll see friends that you haven't seen in a while.
Forever,
so it's like a reunion. And
well, that's a great thing about golf.
Fun.
You can use it for business and things. And it's
business
great.
And pleasure.
That's it.
Carl, it is a pleasure meeting you. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you both for having me.
We'll have you back, and definitely email any of these tournaments and stuff these scholarships tournaments that you're hosting.
I will keep that in mind, and I'll do it. So, because next year I'd like to get the word out sooner and broader and get more people involved.
We
Just
can
keep
help you
that
do
going,
that.
because we got to keep the game of golf going. The only way you can do that is get more young golfers involved.
Absolutely.
You're doing a great job doing that scholarship fund. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to talking with you at lunch here today, too. So.
We'll take a break here and come back. I think we got Walker on the phone, so we'll be right back with that here on Ask Your Neighbor on WYSH. Good morning.
Resetting your password, unsubscribing from emails, printing, anything. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with an auto owner's insurance independent agent, getting the right coverage for your business doesn't have to be one of them. so you can get back to the important things, like learning how the printer works. That's simple human sense. Contact Fox Insurance Group at 865-482-0513 or find us online at grayfoxins.com today.
And everybody, we're back here this morning. Ask Your Neighbor, and on the phone with us, Walker Johnson. Good morning, Walker.
How art thou?
I is fine, sir. And you? How are you?
Doing the King James version.
He is.
Walker.
It's the King James version of Ask Your Neighbor this morning.
King James works for me. I got that Baptist in my blood thing. That's the Broadman hymnal. I swear by it.
There you
What's
go.
going on, guys?
We're just sitting here, Sammy and I, and we're just sitting here working our way through a Thursday on Ask Your Neighbor.
Well, there you go. There you go. What can I help with?
We're going to try to condense your radio history and your personal stuff into about 45 minutes to an hour. Can we do that?
We can do it. We can do it in one word.
There you go.
Let me tell you what he texted me here this morning. He said he wanted to know how these folks could listen to it, because I'm going to read what you told us. You said, so I'm going to let all of the homes for the elderly roll out my friends off their bedpans and listen.
Did you tell him how he could listen?
Yeah.
All right, very good.
Yeah. Hey, Walker, first of all, I know a lot of people in East Tennessee. I mean, you're a radio legend from East Tennessee, and I've told you my stories about listening to you back in the 70s. But tell folks a little bit about how you got started in radio.
Well, first I got to tell you that one word.
One word to describe. Go ahead.
Failure. Well, at least that's what the wife said.
Hey, did you ever work for any of the stations Ron owns?
No, he didn't.
Yeah, 53 years of marital bliss, boys and girls.
There you go.
You want to know how this thing started?
Yeah. How'd you get all into this mess, Walker?
Well, I tell you what, my daddy. Well, let's start with Charles Walker Johnson. That's Daddy.
Yeah.
His daddy was building a grocery store in 1939, and he got it built in 41. Okay, he had 7 of them. My grandfather did.
Yeah.
And my daddy went to him. He says, "Now right over here, we're going to put a door." And Granddaddy said, "Why?" He said, "Because we're going to put the first radio station in Maryville right there." Grandfather was very smart. And he said, "That's a wonderful idea, but I think we'll sell Purina feed out of there." And they did, and they made a fortune doing that. But bottom line was, I was at University of Tennessee, and I had over 200 hours, still hadn't graduated. And I was doing some plays. I'd never been in a play in my life. And I was doing a play with a guy named Jim Dearman. Dearman was a famous radio guy in Knoxville, and he was on TV and stuff. And I was getting married. I said, "Dearman, I need a job." He said, "Radio, it's perfect." And I said, "Okay, I'll come over to KGN and start." He said, No. You got to start small. I said, "What's perfect about it?" Listen, this is the truth. Dearman said, 4 hours a day, inside, air conditioned, and you sit down. I'm not kidding you.
That was the selling point, huh?
It's a gravy train.
Yeah.
I said, "Deal me in." I've been working for 13 years for my daddy in a warehouse. But anyway, so how did I get into it? It was very simple. My father always had the bug, and I didn't know it. And I was talking to him. I said, "Well, I'm getting married and everything." And Jim Dearman said, "I ought to get radio, and I probably ought to start somewhere small." Daddy said, "Hold on." Charles W. picked up the phone. He was the oldest advertiser on WGAP. Started with the station when it started in 48. And he called the owner, and he said, "Go on over there, you're on." Thus, I entered the wild and wonderful world of broadcasting at 75 cents an hour.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Some things never change.
Ron jumped to $1 an hour.
Yeah, we're almost up to $1 now.
Yeah, well, that was my first raise. I went up 25 cents. But now I worked at KGN, and I was sitting on a stool singing in Knoxville. One night I'm making $25, but KGN was steady, or GAP was steady money. Bottom line, I always wanted to work at KGN. Got on KGN, was doing news, and did real well at it. Had an offer to go to WSB Atlanta, and I turned that down. Had another offer to go to Birmingham, turned that down. They said, "Why?" I said, well, I'm sitting here making $110 a week, a lot of money, and I want to be a disc jockey. So I understood, spin them platters, boys and girls. So anyway, I got word that Mike Beach, who was a radio guy, he was over at WETE, and Beach was going to come over to KGN and do afternoons, and his job was open. And I got this word from a friend who was going to go apply for the job. I immediately picked up the phone and called a guy named Don Patrick, who was the program director. I said, Mr. Patrick, you don't know me, but I want that job. And he said, you're Walker Johnson. I've listened to you. You've got the job. And so I snaked it away. First job in radio, I snaked away from this guy and started ETE, was at ETE. Curtis Perrin was doing mornings. ETE was the strangest radio station in the world. It was a great place to be. We played 3 categories of music. Number 1, big band. Number 2, country. Number 3, rock and roll. And you'd play each record in a row. And we managed to offend everyone.
Did you play, did you have, were you block format, or did you just, you played it all at the same time?
I tell you how complicated it was. There was a piece of wood up there, and one wood had a thing of 45 records that said country, the other one said rock and roll, and the other one said big band, and you were required to play 1, 2, 3 like that. That's the way you played it.
Wow.
And it was a mess. But the reason I went over there was it was 5,000 watts, and KGN was 1,000 day, 250 at night.
Yeah.
And the Tri-County Pulse had just about gone under, and KGN was going under because the Tri-County Pulse was 3 counties, and KGN did great. And when Arbitron hit, KGN was just dying on the vine. And so I went over there to 5,000 watts. Bottom line, got in it. Everything was fun. It was a fun place to work. I was working a lot of hours and making absolutely nothing. 130 though.
130 bucks a week.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, this guy came in. He said, we bought the radio station. We're out of Asheville. We're firing everyone. And Curtis Perrin, being the slick dude he is, he went into the program director's office and said, listen, I just got back, and he did, from working in Birmingham, Alabama. And down there, they had a station that had a team on, 2 guys working in the mornings. And he said, Walker got an 8 in the last book, and I got a 10. You put us together, we'll get you an 18. And programmers said, well, I think you're just trying to save your job. And he said, and Walker's. Don't forget him. And so, by golly, that's how C.P. and Walker came about. And the first book, we did have an 18. The next book, we went to 25, and we beat Claude and beat everybody. And from that point on, I went from 135 a week. And by the time I left KGN, Curtis and I were making over $100,000 a year apiece.
That's awesome. How long did you guys do it together?
Well, together, I'll tell you how we made the money.
All right.
The money was pretty easy. I talked to a lawyer because we had a contract. I was getting the lawyer. And the lawyer didn't know much about radio. He said, they make their money off selling stuff that you do. And I said, yeah, we do live spots. He said, we're going to get you a cut of that. And they did. They got us both a cut. And we were doing 4 lives an hour. Then we went to 6 lives an hour. And then we're doing 8-hour lives an hour. And pretty soon, along with the salaries that we both got, we made over 100 apiece. Curtis, I didn't know him. And I got to know him. And he was funny. And we were walking up down the street one day, and I said, Perrin, you've got all these voices and stuff. He said, yeah, and I'm going to be doing them. I said, great. So we went in there with no format or anything except we were playing rock. And we did this thing, and he started doing these voices. And he had a traffic reporter, and he had all this stuff. But his biggest voice was a guy named Clyde Clodd, who owned a university and owned a farm and everything. And he, on that university, had a football team called the Fighting Possums. And so that's where we took off like you wouldn't believe. Perrin could do the voice of Bill Battle.
Yeah.
You remember Bill Battle, football coach?
Yep.
And Battle's a sweet man, and he got out of football and got into real money. But Battle sort of talked like this, and he never used profanity. He'd say, golly bum and holy smokes and gee whiz, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So here was Coach. Coach Parker did the same thing. And Coach Parker took off. I mean, people would just live for Coach Parker because every Saturday, Coach Parker's team played a team just like Tennessee was playing, but it was the Institute for the Corrected and Sane and stuff like that. and it did very well. And the coaches at UT, as we went through them, would always have Perrin come over as Coach Parker and speak to the team. And Perrin would come in with a hat on, a whistle, and they thought he was a real coach.
That's
now, golly
awesome.
bum, you boys out there, when you're playing Alabama, golly bum, I want you to squirt through the middle. I tell you what we're going to do. I've got a both-footed field goal kicker I'm going to loan you, Cumberland Plateau, and he is great. He can hit it all the way from Cumberland Avenue to the river, but we wear out about 4 pairs of pants a game. Now, listen, and those kids listen. Thought he was real. I'm not kidding you. And so that's how CP and Walker started. That's where we got everything going. So and then after that we went other places, but that was it. And we just happened to be at the right place at the right time, and it worked out. We owned the market. Scripps Howard used to come in because they owned NOX, and they were trying to get us to go into TV, going to move us out primarily. Yeah. And we always said no. And we just loved Knoxville, so we worked there, and then it got sold. They fired both of us. Went over to IVK for a while, and that did not work out. The IVK was, between you and me at that time, years ago, was pretty toxic environment to work in. A lot of people were, I don't know why, they made a lot of money, but we got along with Denton and some other people. But finally, when we left there, they fired me because my daddy finally bought a radio station in Maryville, Tennessee, bought an AM daytimer. And I went over and worked for nothing for daddy. Yeah. And then U102 came along, and Randy Michaels, who owned U102, and he owned a bunch of the whole chain, he had listened to us as a kid driving through Knoxville, and he said, I'm going to put those two back together. And he put us together on 102 and paid us a pile of money, and we were there, and we owned the market in that, too, until, quote, it was sold. And after that, that was pretty much it for radio for me. But we had a great time. We had a great run. We enjoyed it. I talk to Parham every day. His life now is Netflix, sitting on a couch, smoking lots of cigarettes. I forgot, and being overweight.
I know he'll appreciate that description. See,
I love him dead, and he's one guy. I'm not kidding. You can tell him a joke right now, and 2 years later he'll tell it back to you. He can remember every joke. He can do a voice like you would believe. He can do voices, and Parham is just genuinely funny. And we will call each other. He'll always call me when somebody died. You remember so-and-so? He finally died. We did. And pretty soon we're crying. We're laughing so hard. And so that's what we do.
What years were you on WRJZ?
Right.
What year?
When?
Yeah. What years was that? See, or Walker?
I want to say around 75 to maybe 80. Somewhere in that area, because I went to IBK for the World's Fair. I was there in 82.
Okay.
So probably 75 to maybe 80, somewhere in that area.
And you round up on 102 about what, 80? When
87.
Yeah, okay.
Right around 87, yeah. Went to U102, and we jumped. U102 was the first FM we'd ever been on. Yeah. We've been on AM ever since. And we went over to U102, and George Mooney had put that station on, and both of us had worked for Mooney at KGN 100 years earlier. Oh, wow. And they had sold out to Central or some big group. And we were really good. And Randy Michaels was the guy who was a big owner in that group. And he was the one that put us together over at 102. And we had fun at 102. We had a good run at 102, really did. And then it got sold. Every time they got sold, what they would do is they'd look at the bottom line and say, these two guys are making a fortune. Yeah. We'll fire one of them. And so they'd fire either me or Curtis. And then pretty soon, whoever was left couldn't do it, so they'd fire them. So that's the way it happened twice to us. But 102 was a good run. It was its first FM and the only FM CP Walker had ever been on.
You did some stuff with Todd over at FIV for a while, too, didn't you?
Well, KVL, yeah. Todd and I had a morning show. We had a talk show, and we beat Howler, and we were doing great. Yeah. And between you and me, and don't tell nobody this, all right? This is between us boys here. Uh-huh. The owner was a Democrat, and
you're amongst friends.
He fired me first. Yeah. And I ain't saying no more. Don't do politics. But he and it wasn't his fault. He's really a nice man.
Doug's a good guy. He's a good guy, but
he is. But he hired some guy that didn't know what he was doing. He was a drug addict. That's the truth. And he came in through and he said, "We're gonna fire everybody and do something new." And they fired me, and I didn't care because I was working for a shopping channel out of Nashville, driving 123 miles one way to work every day. So every weekend I worked over there. So I didn't really care. I was making money over there anyway. But the KVO was fun. It was really fun. The worst thing I ever did at KVO, and this won't take but a second, I'm sitting there telling stories, and we got people calling in laughing. I'm doing jokes. Todd's laughing. All of a sudden, I get a call from somebody saying, "You people are horrible." I start saying, "Hey, Mom, how'd you get this number?" No. I said, "What?" He said, "You have no idea." They slammed the phone down, and the phone started lighting up, and it was 9/11.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
You guys didn't know.
And I immediately came back on. I immediately apologized. And I immediately went to CBS News.
Yeah.
And my buddy Dave Folk over at IBCAT called me and said, "Folk, what's going on?" He said, "I'm going to the courthouse in case they bomb it." And he said, you need to stay on the air. And so I stayed with it, but CBS was doing such great coverage. And I had Folk and I were great friends. In fact, he was the one who went to SB and offered me a job down there. And I said, "Listen, I'll break into CBS if you call me if anything's going on in Knoxville." And every now and then he would call me and tell me stuff, but it wasn't much going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, and those people were right. You were awful. By golly, we were. But we had no idea. We had no idea. So that was the worst thing ever happened to us at KVO. KVO was fun. Great radio station, a lot of fun. And Horn's a nice guy. He really is. He just hired the wrong guy. Decided when you hire somebody, they always want to fire everybody. Sort of make it anyway. So that's the difference. But
you still playing out? You still do it? You still taking your guitar and picking it roundabout?
I'm getting into it. Walker Johnson is on YouTube, and he's on YouTube, but he's also on Facebook. And if you go to Facebook, I always put some songs up there. I went through a thing. I got hoodwinked by this guy. He dresses up like Barney Fife. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
Yeah.
He took me down a short road to destruction. I've been really sick and had a cancer and still do, but I'm doing okay. I'm going to be around a lot longer than people wish. But anyway, I've been really sick, and I was really, really, down and didn't have much energy. And he said, "I want you to come over here and be on this show and talk about John Prine." And I said, "Sure." Well, I got there, and dadgummit the heck, y'all, to use a Coach Battle phrase, they want me to sing, and I could barely stand up.
Yeah.
And so I borrowed a guitar, and I played a couple of tunes. And then that Barney Fife guy had another show in Clinton, and I went over and did about a half hour playing there, and I enjoyed it. But when I got through for 2 days, I couldn't walk. I was just really messed up.
Yeah.
So now I'm just now getting the nerve to get back up and get back out there and do it. And if I do, I always tell people that I charge absolutely nothing, and you get what you pay for.
So that being said, Walker, you up for Monday? Hey, so that being said, Walker, are you coming over Monday, or are you gonna wait till next month?
Well, I can't do it Monday, but I'm going to work on. I got to get my nerve up, man.
You don't need no nerves. Have you seen the show?
Well, not for that. No, if you're involved, I'm not too worried. No, I really, because I was here. Another quick thing. When I went to the University of Tennessee, I had a guitar and I was playing music, and every place I auditioned, I got a job. Every place I auditioned. I was the first music they had at the first place to serve beer inside Gatlinburg, a place called The Shed. Went up there and got a job. And I was just rolling. And then I was in a trio, and we played everywhere. And the bug bit. I never made any money, but I had fun with it. And then when I got sick, I literally couldn't stand up to play. And now I'm old, and I'll probably drag a stool with me, but I want to get back to it because the stuff I play is so old. Most of the people are dead that really liked it, and that's bad.
It's coming back.
Well, I hope
whatever you're playing, it's coming back. Trust me, it's cyclical.
Well, I hope so, because when I do Walker Johnson on Facebook, I always write a story about what I'm going to play. And I got a story on there right now about two boys that were riding in a car in 1947. One was named Huey King, and the other was named Field, and they heard Bill Monroe sing Kentucky Waltz. And by the time they got to where they're going, they had written the Tennessee Waltz, and that's how it came about, and I played that on that thing. So it is coming back. You're right, it is coming back, and that's good.
Who's your biggest musical influence?
Well, it's just, the folk music thing in Gatlinburg. I got up there right at the pinnacle of it. And it was ground zero for folk music. There was 4 different groups playing, and I was playing. And it was amazing. Then, you know what killed folk music was 1964, and those 4 fools from England came over. And I'm not kidding. Warner Brothers canceled Peter, Paul, and Mary. Columbia canceled Kingston Trio. All these guys that you loved just canceled them immediately. Said, you're gone. Get out of here. It stayed around for a while, but it lost its airplay right then. So, anyway, am I boring yet? I mean, I can keep going. Shoot.
Tell the story about.
You want to know?
David loves you to sing some John Prine. So the story of John Prine, you love a lot of the music of John Prine, right?
Absolutely, and Prine is a fascinating human being. I've studied. I never got to meet him. I talked to John Hartford some one time, and T.G. Shepherd I got to know real well. I love that guy. But Prine was so fascinating. You know, he's a mail carrier when he started out. And he worked all these jobs, and he started playing in a place in Chicago, and he would just get up on open mic, and people heard him. And the next thing you knew, John Prine just exploded. One of the most interesting songwriters ever. I mean, he was just fascinating. And he had a tongue-in-cheek thing. I don't know if you knew he had cancer, and they took away his lower jaw. Yeah. And they said, Mr. Prine, I'm sorry, this is going to affect the way you sing. He said, you haven't heard me sing, have you? And he kept right on going. So Prine was just one of those guys. And, I do a couple of his tunes. I really do. And just love him. And a guy I just discovered who's been dead for a while, and I didn't know, is a guy called Guy Clark.
Oh, Guy Clark
is
great.
He's a good songwriter. Woo!
Homegrown tomatoes.
Yeah.
But anyway, I do some Prine, sure.
Hey, John Prine, so I'm being a Mayberry fan. If you've never watched the movie Daddy and Them, have you ever watched it?
Yes.
Okay, it's a great movie. John Prine plays Andy Griffith's brother. And a lot of Billy Bob Thornton's in it. It's a fantastic movie. It's a cultist type movie. But John Prine, the song You Didn't Call Me By My Name that David Allan Coe made famous, and he always gives credit to Steve Goodman. Mm-hmm. Do you know that story about John Prine finished that song with Steve Goodman?
Was he the one that said it's not the perfect country song, but you have to have?
That's right. Well, he came back in, and Steve Goodman was working on the song. You know that story, right?
Oh, yeah.
John Prine actually finished, but he didn't take a lot of the credit for it.
Really?
You know, I saw Goodman in concert, and he came out, and he opened for Steve Martin at the University of Tennessee, and nobody knew who he was, and they kind of booed him, and that little booger started playing, and everybody went crazy. He was so good. He wore out City of New Orleans, of course, and stuff like that, but, I mean, he was a great singer, and he died young. He was a good writer, too. Yeah. He and Jimmy Buffett were buddies.
Oh, wow.
If you ever go to a Chicago Cubs game or even the Tennessee Smokies now, they play at the end of the games, it's Go Cubs Go. That song, well, that was written by Steve Goodman. And
really? I didn't know that. Didn't know that, man.
Yeah, it's great.
But there's all this stuff laying out there. Prine's music, Goodman's got a bunch of music, Guy Clark's music. It's all laying out there. And you never get airplay on it. And also now, I don't know. I mean, I'm so proud that I'm talking to somebody who runs a radio station and owns it. I mean, that is wonderful. You keep this up. And because that's what we need. There's too much. AI is going to kill everybody between you and me. But there's too much of this stuff that radio came in here corporately owned, and everybody has to play so many songs an hour, and there has to be these songs. And then that went away. The local-owned people who are going to talk to people are the ones that are going to survive and do well. And congratulations for doing what you're doing.
We're all left.
I was told by Barney Fife to suck.
You know, next year, 2026 marks 20 years of Merle since I built it.
You are kidding me.
No, 20 years. If you can believe that. Considering we were told we wouldn't last 6 months, we've done all right.
Yeah. Oh, I remember when y'all came on with it. You scared some people to death.
Yeah, we did.
You did. It's like, what?
Those billboards those billboards we put up, do not listen to 96.7 FM, were, that was divinely inspired. I don't know how I came up with that, but I did, and it worked.
And you were different, and you had good people on, and, you just started out, and it's not one of those things, well, I don't know if we can. You just did it.
Yeah.
And you're still just doing it. And that niche that you're in is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Yes, it really is. I don't make these things up.
No,
it's absolutely true.
The music and the music that we play, we're now, the way that things are going, used to when you'd pick a song by how it was performing across the country, other stations.
Right.
Today, we've moved almost exclusively to download. So if you're listening to Merle, you will not hear a song that has not been downloaded less than 100 million times. That's
excellent idea. Excellent idea.
Combining that with what's going on airplay, because airplay was being dictated, like, for instance, out of Atlanta, with Cumulus, they'll dictate airplay for so many people. So it's not really representative of the area. So we're, everybody's went to digital and online, so we're incorporating that into what we do, and it's really made a huge difference in people that, they like what we play. You can tell.
Absolutely, and all you need to do is get the word out, and guess what? You're doing it where you need to with social media and online.
Yeah.
That's not the future, it's the present.
Absolutely.
And corporate radio, I mean, I'll turn on IVK to listen to a football game. And I have nothing wrong with IVK at all. Gunner and I are great friends. In fact, he started at the radio station we bought in Maryville. I've known him forever.
Yeah.
And he can tell you where corporate country music has gone now. And guess what? He is retired on purpose.
Well, we're the last local game in town. We're the last group, period, bar none. Everybody else is gone, sold out, done, operates out of some other state.
You are preaching to the choir. You really are. And where you are is where everybody's going to want, a lot of people are going to want to be, because you're doing it right. You're finding out what they're listening to and you're playing it. And it may be a remake of a Buffett tune, or it may be a brand new, I don't know, country artist. I can't name country artists because every 20 minutes there's a new one. They have a hit and then they go away and get another T-shirt and hat. But no, really, I'm not. Your station is doing what it ought to do, and I didn't know that's the way you program. That's a great way to do it.
Well, we work with a guy named Lloyd Ford, a huge programming guy. Big, in fact, probably the #1 programmer in the country right now. He's been working for us with us for we're going on 5 years April. So it took us a little while to catch on, but once it did, it's like fire. It's done well.
Absolutely, man.
I'll send you a check for all that nice stuff you said. Appreciate it.
You keep sweet talking them, you're gonna get a $5 an hour raise.
You're supposed to slip a crisp new 20 under the table to Barney. That's why I was so long.
It's like we say, if you got a request, just write it on a $20 bill and send it up here. We'll get it for you.
Hey Walker.
We would get. Sometimes we'd be playing, and I played several trios. Had a lot of fun too. We did Kingston trio covers, and we did some country. And I had a guy call and said, "I'll give you $50 if you never play Wagon Wheel again." I said, for $50, I'll go home with you.
There you go.
And it was a great song.
It is a great song.
Yeah. Kill me now, But as back to me, because my wife says it's always about me, and she's absolutely right. If you do find me on Facebook, I've got tunes on there, and I'm playing, and I'm going to think about that thing. I can't do it Monday, but I'm thinking about doing that. I want to. That's what I'm looking for, and everybody is looking for the same thing. Some place where people sit and listen to you. They'll kind of know the songs. They'll listen to your old jokes, and they'll sing along with you. And that's not a bar. And unfortunately, I've worked bars. I've worked bars that I don't even want to talk about it. It gets kind of scary. But
chicken wire.
Even worse.
Barbed wire.
You want a bar story? It won't take a second.
Sure.
I don't know how much time.
You got plenty of time.
I was on KVL. Mm-hmm. And I was playing with a lifelong friend, a guy that we were born the same day, went to the same church, and we're still just close friends. And he played bass, and he'd been in some bands in Memphis, and he and I were just playing. And the guy called up. He says, "I'm opening a bar, and I want to advertise." And I said, "Okay." And I can't tell you the name of it because somebody might remember it. And he said, "It's going to cater to nothing but fat women." That's going to bring the guys in. And he said, here's my thought. Fat women don't like to go to bars because there's too many cute women there. So the we'll all come to my bar. And I said, sure, you gonna buy an ad on this station, man? I don't care what you putting on their giraffes and bikinis. I mean, buddy, we're gonna sell it to you. Well, I got talking to him, and I said, well, I'm playing music with the guy. Well, would you like to do happy hour? I said, certainly. I love happy hour. You get to drive home in the light. You know what I mean? But I went in there, and it was in West Knoxville. It had been a bar, and it was nice, and it was at the end of this road, and we played, and by golly, they came in. I'm not kidding you. Some of them field dressed out at 400. You know what I mean? I mean, big old girls. And they a big old girl can drink too, get up and drive. I mean, but we played in a bar that catered to incredibly big women, and finally they came into us one day when we got through, and we were bringing people in because I was taking the time on the radio saying, by the way, such and such a bar that we're playing there Saturday, so people were going. But finally, the lady who was managing said, God, we're shutting this thing down. I said, why? And he said, well, they're demanding a buffet, and we can't afford it.
True story or not?
You can't make this up.
No, I don't guess you can.
But anyway, we played that. But yeah, we played a lot of different places. But Gatlinburg, real quick, to tell you that story. I mean, you don't want to hear about it anyway. I was at the University of Tennessee, and I was playing guitar by myself, and been in a trio. And there was a bulletin board over there at UT for jobs. You know, they had this little thing up that said, "Would you like to play in Gatlinburg?" God, yes, I want to play in Gatlinburg. Call this number. So I called it. The guy's name was Johnny Walker, and Johnny built the Red Roofs. Have you ever heard of the Red Roofs?
Yeah, Red Roof Inns, sure.
Before he built all that. Johnny Walker had a pile of money. Anyway, he bought this little bar just as you get off the spur on the right. Ruby Tuesdays, I think, went in there earlier or later. It was called The Shed, and it was tiny. And he said, I don't know anything about music, but come in here. I want you to play for some people. Well, Hunter Hills was doing theater productions up there, and he brought in 3 people from Hunter Hills, and he told me they were from Hunter Hills. Well, I was doing theater at UT, and I knew what they were doing. They were doing one play called Dark of the Moon, and it had an old song in it called Barbara Allen, 147 verses. And so I got up there and sang Barbara Allen, and those Dark of the Moon theater people said, hire him. So I got out there, and I played in there, and he said, here's the deal. Back then, $100 a week in Gatlinburg was a fortune. He said, I'm going to pay you $110. You'll come in here at noon and open the restaurant. He said, don't worry about it. Nobody's ever ordered food here yet. He said, you'll just be drawing beer. I said, okay. And he said, we got a guy that walks in here. He's very old. He walks some Pigeon Forge, and we call him Six Pack. And Six Pack will drink 6 beers, and then he'll ask for another, and you tell him no, and he leaves. So I said, okay, I can handle this. So I go in there at noon, I open it up, and the first thing comes in was a couple, mom, dad, and 2 kids, and they wanted a sandwich. Mm-hmm. And I went back in the back. I made them a sandwich made Dagwood get sick. It was thicker than 6 inches, you know. And I called Johnny Walker. I said, man, they're in here wanting food. He said, what? We never had that happen before. I said, yeah, they are. And then they went away, and the rest of the day I was pulling beer. And then I would go at 5 o'clock up to his house, which was beautiful, and I would sit there for 2 hours and come back at 7 and play until midnight and play music. Mm-hmm. But here's another truth. The sink had a pipe that went straight out the side wall, and when you ran your beer and washed everything, it shot out that pipe and went into the river. So we had a lot of happy fish.
That's amazing.
Bottom line was I was doing great up there, and I was getting locals, and they all wanted country, and I knew Your Cheating Heart, and I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry, and I played it all over. But I had that, and I was really rolling. There were people coming in wanting all this stuff, and Hunter Hills was coming in and going this stuff. And my mama, which, bless her heart, love her to death, did not like her boy coming home to Maryville at night smelling like beer. And I told Mother, I haven't had a drop of beer in my life. I don't drink. And I said, but you get it all over you. And so she called Johnny Walker and said, he's quit. And by God, out. Just like that.
That was it.
But she taught 8-year-olds in Sunday school at First Baptist, and she said no. And here's another side on my mama. She was a Mormon, Mother was a Mormon. Daddy went out west, went to the University of Wyoming, met mother and married her, brought her back. Next thing you know, she's teaching 8-year-olds at First Baptist. I bet if First Baptist knew her background, they'd probably run her off, but that's okay. But I lost my job up there. But that was a real experience because it was the first place to serve beer in Gatlinburg. There were groups called the Town Criers, the Gentlemen, and there's a Cumberland Trio, and all three of those groups were making a fortune in Gatlinburg before everything hit.
That's crazy.
Went under. Gatlinburg was a great place to go to hear music.
Folks want to find you on Facebook. How do they find you on Facebook, Walker?
Go to Walker Johnson.
Oh, pretty easy. Pretty easy.
Unless there's another one, it's me.
Okay.
And I listen, you Facebook people, I got a secret for you. You know how to keep people from just hating you and, setting things on fire in your front yard and trying to shoot your animals?
How you do that?
What you do is you put pictures of your dogs up. I got a cute one. If you go on a trip, put pictures up of your trip and sing songs and put that up there. And don't put anything else. I mean, nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, I'll put some old pictures and stuff up, but don't you dare mention that you are a Unitarian, Columbius, I don't know, whatever. It's just keep away from anything. Keep away from anything that it involves a ballot box. Okay, keep away from it. Don't go near it. You ain't good to get in there. You'll be in trouble.
Facebook words to live by.
But mine is either my dogs are up there, or I got a song and I'm telling you a story about it, or we went on a trip and took some pictures and It's fun. It's fun. And I still, to this day, I still have people say, well, I miss you on the radio. I said, my God, how old are you? And they get off their little rascal and turn off the oxygen and say, well, I ain't that old yet, But
hey, Walker, tell them about the story. There's one of the most, probably one of the top syndicated morning shows in the nation is John Boy and Billy out of Charlotte that's syndicated. Tell them the story about John Isley. You worked with him and played basketball with him back in RJZ days. Was that right? Or which station was that?
Yeah, it was RJZ. He was our night man. John Isley was 6'7". We had a basketball team. There was a 6'10", a 6'7", a 6'5". But anyway, John Isley right now, if he were just to come in and sit down with you, within 3 minutes, you'd be crying. You'd be laughing so hard. He's genuine. He's the nicest old boy. I mean, and John is loaded now. He's rich. Yeah. But he did nights, and he would do stuff at night on the radio. I mean, golly bum, he was funny. And he had a guy named Jay Jarvis. And Jay Jarvis was a nephew to Ray Stevens out of Nashville. Mm. And Jay would come in and beat on the guitar, and John would sing. And, well, half the stuff I can't tell you because those people are still alive and they have lawyers. But he, John would, he and John Barleycorn were buddies. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They were good friends, and not as bad as Denton, but they were good friends. And we had false ceilings in RJC, as everybody did. And John would push that false ceiling up, stand on the board, put a long record on, crawl across the ceiling into the manager's office and get him a fifth of brown whiskey and bring it back. And Jarvis was a little skinny boy, and Jarvis didn't drink. John got him drinking. Pretty soon Jarvis was gone. And when John was about halfway gone, if you could turn him on, then it was really funny. John was not dirty. He was just instantly funny. Now, he almost got fired. He was doing the weather forecast. And Carnes High School had a very old gym, and it caught on fire. It was burning to the ground. And he said it's 57 in Knoxville, 382 at Carnes at the gym. And it wasn't long before the phones lit up.
Hey, the thing about John,
people love their gym, but John is just, and I haven't talked to him in a while, but he has done so well over there.
He's loaded, like you said.
He said to get banned from Carowinds forever, but this is a family show, and it was nasty, but he said it anyway, and he got banned from Carowinds, which is a big music park. But John was genuinely funny. He wasn't dirty. He wasn't dirty at all, and he just sat back as a good old boy and told you things and made you laugh. And if you were listening to him, and it's 3 a.m, you go into Crystal, get 5 more hamburgers before you went home, John, you owned it. And the thing that made it good was, back then, if you had an all-night guy that was that good, they carried over to you. So we had John. We came right out of John with CP and Walker, and people stayed with us.
Yeah.
There were people who got up at 4 a.m. to go to work. They were listening, and then people getting their kids up, and they were listening to John, and then boom, they stayed with us. But Isley is a genuine, really funny, nice guy, and he got more money than Barney Fife does right now. I guarantee you.
Well, he found his niche like you did with a partner, CP and Walker, but John Boy and Billy.
He did, but now Jarvis was a shy little kid. But he wrote music and couldn't play guitar hardly at all. But he would, if you're in the room with you, you're going to be laughing. So basically, all he did was laugh, and he didn't say much because he's very shy, and that made it even better. But yeah, John did well. John's
a huge Mayberry fan.
He's out there, man. So
he's a huge Mayberry fan. He loves Mayberry.
Oh, you know it. You know it, buddy. Have you met him?
No, I've got friends that have met him and been on his show with him. I've never met him, but I feel like I've met him because I know a lot about him.
He really was.
What's neat
he was
about
wild March Hare when he was doing nights at RJC, and then he went up. Finally, went through all this stuff, and got over to the Carolinas and married a girl they knew in high school.
Yeah.
And she taught physical education at the university. And she's sweet as she could be, foot of the cross girl, and she straightened him out, I think.
Yeah. Well, he's got a son that's down, and we have a mutual friend that has a child that's down as well. I don't know, his son's probably in his 20s, I think now. But
yes, it would be.
But he's genuine, like you said. He's just genuine. He went to UT. I'm not even sure what he majored in or what he went to, if he finished school or what, when he was here doing radio, wasn't it?
He came up here and went to the Johnny Perkle School of Broadcasting. You remember that thing?
I remember the school of broadcasting.
Perkle owned a school. Oh, you too will be spinning the platters and having all those girls calling you 2 a.m. saying, "Can you come over?" I mean, he had a school going for that crap, and John came up and enrolled in it. and the next thing you knew, RJZ was looking for an all-night guy, and back then all-night guys were hard to find. And our program director, Bob Kagan, who passed away, really good at talent, and he heard him on that stupid school thing. He called him up and said, "Get over here. I'm going to tell you a few things, and you're going to go on tonight." And from that point on, John took off. But he was up here going to the Johnny Perkle closed cover before striking School of Broadcasting. So,
tell him about the.
That's the gospel, yeah. Oh, yeah.
The night, on the night broadcast, Ernie the bartender, Ernie Baker, a lot of the people listening probably remember those days of calling in to Ernie the bartender. He's just somebody that sit there and listen to him talk. You've told me many stories about Ernie.
We loved Ernie to death. We were in his wedding, introduced to his wife. His wife was a sweet girl and still is. Ernie's passed. But she would go over to the library and get joke books and take a legal pad and write these jokes down. Then she would call Curtis and me and come over at about 5 or 6 in the morning, and we'd go downstairs and get her pad of all those jokes and take them upstairs. She loved CP and Walker. Jokes weren't very good, but she was sweet. And Ernie didn't date. Ernie was shy. Ernie was a genius. He was a philosophy major. He had graduated. In fact, he went on and became a lawyer. Honest to gosh. But Ernie was real shy and great newsman. And I told Ernie, I said, we're down there getting these jokes from a girl named Diane. She wants to meet you. Oh, I can't do that. Just all scared and everything. I said, son, go down there and meet her. And here was the problem was we had worn Ernie out. We had made so much fun of this guy, and he loved it. I mean, everybody referred to Ernie Baker as, just goofy. And he wasn't. He was smart. And he was kind of ashamed to meet people. He went down and met Diane. Next thing you know, he got married to Diane. And then he went to Nashville, and he went to law school and became a lawyer and did real well. But Baker was funny, and he had these people on at night, regulars that would call in, and some of them were completely insane.
I was
but
one
he
of
could
them.
talk to anybody, and everybody loved Ernie. But he was on with us, and it was so funny. When we started, the program director said, "I want you Walker to read the news, but I want Ernie to write it. I don't want you in there fooling with it, and you just run in there and read the news. And I would do it. And Baker was good at news, but he was slow. And I would be standing there, the sounder would be going on, and Baker wasn't finished. And I'd be sitting in the chair saying, Baker, anything, to the weather. That was Ernie. But the man was wonderful, and he had a huge following at night because it was ETE back then, 5,000 watts at night, and we weren't directional. We had 4 towers on the Holston Hill Golf Course, and, buddy, you could hear Ernie everywhere. But great guy, really quiet, really shy, and we made so much fun of him. It was not fun, but he didn't mind it. He loved it. And like I said, he went to Nashville, and he got out of law school, and he got in, and the Gulf War started, and he was in a law firm, and he was way down the line. Well, all of them went off to war, and so he called him in and said, "You're going to have to go to court." He said, "Do what?" He said, "Yeah, you got to get in there and this guy's going to go here, and you got to have it." He said, I went to him. I said, "What'd you tell him?" He said, "Well, he's a criminal." I said, "This is going to be real quick. You're going to go in there. You're not going to say anything. Then you're going to go straight to jail." And he said, "By golly, he did." But Baker was, I don't know. I can't say enough nice things about him. Just a nice guy.
Hey,
and a big, he probably had the most listened to night show before John Boy that anybody had. So,
hey, Walker,
that was fun.
The name of this show each week, and it's David WYSH's show. It's called Stars and Stories of the Kaz Walker Show. And so You were telling me you had some pretty good Kaz Walker stories.
I can do you a Kaz.
All right.
My grandfather, the guy that put the feed store in where the radio was going to go, my grandfather died in 47. I was born in 48. He owned 7 stores. He was a friend of Kaz Walker's. And Kaz Walker was entirely different than anything you ever saw on the television. And my grandfather, according to those who knew him, because he died before I was born, always had a coat and tie on, vest, and he always had a little notepad, and he was figuring. Man was a genius. And he and Kaz got together, and they liked each other, and Kaz was expanding, and he cut a deal with him. He said, "I will never be in Knoxville with a grocery store if you'll never come to Maryville with one." So he and Kaz were great friends, and that's one way that I was kind of connected to Kaz. Another one was he had a talent show, Kaz Walker talent show, and I was singing on the Mary Starr show. Mary Starr had a cooking show on Channel 10, and her husband was working for a wholesale distributor for groceries, and he called on my daddy. Daddy said, "Well, Walker's playing guitar. He ought to be on that show." And by golly, he got on it. And it was fine. I had a lot of fun. Anyway, Kaz had this talent show. And I was told, "You got to enter that thing." So I went over there, and they got 4 or 5 rounds, And I won the first 2 rounds. And in the 3rd round, a little girl came out with a dancing doll and looked at it, and she won and beat me out. And the way they won, you had to go to a Kaz Walker store to vote. Well, naturally, that was heresy at J&K. We didn't go to Kaz Walker store, so she got more things than I did, and I got beat out of the Kaz Walker talent show. But I got to meet him then, and when I mentioned my grandfather, he goes from a persona of the old gun hunter into, he could talk about philosophy, he could talk about economy. He was just a smart man, and he talked to me for a long time because of my grandfather, and I was very impressed with him. I liked him a lot, but that's the only time I actually met him was doing that talent show, and he was sitting in there in a chair. He would have a sign, and he'd say, "All right, gentlemen, we got the Blue Band coffee," or something, And every now and then he'd look at that price, no good. He'd throw it across the room. I mean, he was, and he had a song called "Pick Up the Morning Paper When It Hits the Street." Kaz Walker's prices, they can't be beat. Try that Blue Band coffee, and you'll want some more. Do all your shopping at a Kaz Walker store.
Yep.
Well, Andy and I put us, because of the J&K store, that was our grocery store. Pick up the morning paper when it hits the ground. Kaz Walker's prices are highest in town. Get the Blue Band coffee, you'll throw it out the door. Do your shopping at a J&K store. We're quite proud of that.
There you go.
Bottom line was Kaz and my grandfather knew each other quite well.
Ron actually owns the rights to this Kaz Walker stuff, so if you need any Blue Band coffee or
We can take
anything
care of you.
and the salve.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, he actually has it here.
I got it here. I got it here at the radio ranch.
Well, there you go.
Yep.
Go.
Whatever ails you.
You should have told the story about how you were named after Kaz. That would have made a better story.
I was not named after my granddad. That would have, you know what?
There you go.
When we talk, I think that'll be what I'm going to tell. I like that.
A new story has
There may
been
be some
born.
royalties coming to you,
There you
Walker.
There you go, brother. There you go. Yeah. But no, Kaz Walker was. It was kind of funny, you know. Kaz Walker on the mornings over at 10, and my daddy had the longest running radio show. It was done by Purina, and Eddie Arnold set a record to you every month or something with the stuff on it on GAP. He bought the first half hour every morning on GAP, and that was another reason I got my job. But yeah, Kaz and Daddy sort of had something in common. Daddy was on 1001 AM-er, and he was on Channel 10.
There you go.
So there you go. But yeah, Kaz was a trip.
So you're gonna come out and play sometime, right? You're gonna come out, maybe not this month, but next few months sometime.
I'm gonna work my nerve up and you know, and see if I can do that. You know, I mean, it sounds like I've got my 2 Prine songs I could play for him.
That's all you got to do, man. Hey, Ron can tell you that this band that David's got, I mean, these guys have played for the best people in the world, and so he's got a good band. He's got a good band that can do whatever you need.
That scares me to death because I'm not used to good bands.
Have you seen the show?
Bad one.
Have you?
You know, but yeah, well, was that the same band that was there that day that I was supposed to go talk about Prine, and I borrowed somebody's guitar to play?
No, it's a different way. I'll tell you what, the keyboardist is usually the keyboardist that played for Charlie Pride for 30 or 40 years, and then
I ain't scared. I ain't scared now. No, sir. I'm not hiding in the corner like a little girl crying. No, not me. But I tell you what, that sounds like it's a lot of fun. That really does.
Yeah. It's you got to come out.
You know,
come out and see us. You need to, when you can, come out and be on the show with us live sometime. Bring your guitar.
Hey, don't ever say that out loud.
What are you doing next week?
That could definitely happen, man.
So let us know.
I've enjoyed it, and yeah, if you want to go over there, somebody listening and find me on Facebook, you can hear some of those tunes. Like I said, there's old stuff, and there's Billy Ed Wheeler stuff, who I dearly loved, and there's some Kingston Trio, and Ian and Sylvia, and Gordon Lightfoot, all these things that people think are dead, but I tell you, one last story now, I swear I'll shut up. I was in a Kingston Trio cover band, and it was pretty doggone good. We did MTA and Greenback Dollar and all that stuff. And when we would play for young people that didn't know the Kingston Trio, they'd say, "Did y'all write that?" So, "Oh, yeah, we wrote that." We wrote that one on the bus. Here's another we got called T1 Jail. We just wrote that. And they believed you, too. It was a lot of fun. Back then, the Trio, their stuff was timeless. People liked that, too. So, anyway, a lot of this old stuff's still out there. And songs that tell a story, you know, that's what longest music is. And country music now is the same. I told somebody one time after Cash died and Waylon left, it became Creedence Clearwater Revival chords and the same words over and over about trucks. And that was about all it was. And now it's I don't dislike it. There's some songs I really do like, but it's a long way from the days when P.G. Shepard was in there. And I love it.
It's a long way from country music.
It's a whole different, but listen, they want to dance and they're young. And if you want to go down and see Gatlinburg on Acid, go to Broadway any Saturday night in Nashville, and you'll see it.
There you go.
It's weird. It's weird. Well, listen, and I'm sure you probably got something to do for a living. If you want me to get out of here, I'll leave you alone, and I will consider that. I can't do it this Monday, but I'll keep working my nerve up and go over there and give it a listen to some of them songs and see what you think, and we'll go from there.
Thank you, Walker.
Thank you, buddy.
Hey, buddy, I appreciate telling you. You keep up the good work, brother. Your radio station is brand new to a lot of people every day.
Thank you, pal. Come by anytime. We'd love to see you.
All right, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Walker.
See you, buddy. Bye-bye. Icon. in radio in this business.
I love Walker.
Around here.
What
Absolutely.
an interesting person. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Funny, sense of humor.
You shouldn't have been up here in New Jersey. You should have been here.
Yeah.
He's got some stories we can't tell on the air.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Does he live here?
He lives in Maryville.
He does,
Yeah,
okay.
He does. And Carl, he is one of the finest guys you'd ever want to meet. He's a super good guy. He's a great singer and picker, and loves to entertain. He's his health's doing better, and we thank the Lord for answered prayer for him. We've been praying for him. He's had cancer and some other stuff going on. So
it sounds like it's in remission now.
Yeah,
it is. He's doing a lot better, but he's a super good guy. A lot of good memories for me. I'm gonna tell you, because in the 70s, that's how I used to, every morning I was listening to him getting up to go to school and some other stuff. But
yeah, I'd like to meet him sometime for sure.
He's a big old fella. He's a big guy. If he comes in here, he'd take this whole section over here.
Long,
he's
tall,
big.
lanky.
He's a big, tall guy.
He's so funny. He's got that dry sense of humor. If
he does.
He'll slide stuff in. It's like a couple seconds later you realize what he said.
Delayed reaction.
Yeah.
You guys headed to go get some chicken and dumplings?
Hoping you're going to join us at Satterville. So make sure that the announcement we need to make sure is for David is this coming Monday night at Wild Wings there in Powell. David and his gang will be there. Then I think he's got something else on the 15th. If I'm not mistaken, he's got something else coming up.
Okay.
Somewhere. And then they were talking about Big Ridge. They've got something coming up. The 15th is Big Ridge. I forget where David has got the other one before that. And then he's going to be with us next month, September the 9th on Tuesday for Senior Day at the Tennessee Valley Fair. And I'll be bringing some tickets out for Ron to be able to give away for that. Good. And so we've got several things coming up. And I'll let David will probably be back next week, and we can fill you in on everything going on over at Satterville. Today we're going to have some chicken and dumplings, some home cooking and fellowship, and probably hopefully if you sit around and pick
police officers, right? For
yep.
I've got about 10. I got about 10 supposed to be there, so we'll see.
Good. Carl, thank you for coming in today too.
No, thank you for having me. I've enjoyed just sitting here listening to you two talk and listening to Walker. It's been my pleasure.
You have to come back sometime. All right, Sammy.
Thank you so much, Ron. We're done. Thank you so much, Ron.
Call it a day. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for listening to AM 1380 WYSH and Ask Your Neighbor. Make sure you tune in at 10 a.m. each day, Monday through Friday, right here on AM 1380 WYSH and BBB TV 12. Or listen live online at WYSHradio.com. And remember, if you have a question, comment, or problem, call in tomorrow and ask your neighbor. Or email from our website. It's Ask Your Neighbor. Thanks for listening.